Hello, this is Michael Jones from Gameday Mobile Marketing, and I want to talk to you about an app we've just put together for a lacrosse client. This is a client that runs multiple lacrosse tournaments throughout the year, but this one in particular is set up for the Lehigh LaxFest. And then once the Lehigh LaxFest is over, what we'll do for this particular app is strip it down, change the logos, change the color scheme, and get it ready for the next tournament they run, which is in November, the fall finale um, tournament later in the year. So we get a lot of our clients who are always asking us, we run multiple tournaments, do we have to have a different app for each event we run? And the answer is no. This is the way we do it. We create one app and then strip it down and retool it every time a new event rolls around. So here we are in the spring of 2014. This app is for the Lehigh LaxFest, which takes place in June of this year. So let me just take you through some of the tabs and show you what we've got here. The directions tab, of course, takes us to the fields where the actual games are taking place. If there were multiple locations, as many of our clients have, then we would have a list of them, and then each one would take them to those locations. And if we were to click on here, we would get turn-by-turn directions using the GPS of the phone. I'm not going to click that right now because I'm using a special preview program which doesn't actually operate on a phone, so the GPS coordinates are not going to be there. But here's the address and here's the directions to it. When you get to the location, of course, the next thing you want to know is where are the fields and which field are we on. So there is a site map here which is just a PDF, and we loaded that into the app. Again, if I had this on a phone, I would turn it on its side and you would see a larger representation of that image simply by making it horizontal, but this previewer is only operating in the vertical mode at the moment. Key dates, this is an area where people can have reminders of certain things that either are happening or need to be happening. So a lot of our clients use this, for example, to let folks know when schedules will be posted or when a list of accepted teams will be posted if it's an invitational tournament. When paperwork needs to be had, if there's a mandatory coaches meeting. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can put reminders into this section, and then what happens is once an event has passed on the calendar, it clips over from the upcoming events tab to the past events tab. So the payment due date, which was actually a couple of weeks ago, is now no longer in the upcoming list, it's in the past list. So that's a neat way of making sure people are aware of what's going on. And you can use this to promote other things that you do. So again, I mentioned this client has two tournaments. The Fall Finale Classic takes place in November, and they put that in their key dates tab. Now there's another way you can remind people, that's through push notifications. We'll talk about that in a moment. But here we have the first area, key dates. Schedules. So what we've done here, we've set up different age groups. Of course, there are multiple age groups in just about any tournament we work with, and we can click on any one of those and it takes us a direct link to the website where the schedules are posted. Now there's a lot of different ways we can do this. If you're working with a third-party scheduler, we can link to that. Sometimes we actually have these input directly into the app as part of a table that we build up in the app. But the key here is trying to make sure that the tournament staff don't have to duplicate their efforts. So if you're already posting your results online, we don't really want to create a situation where you have to post them all over again inside the app. So we just link directly to the website and click it through, and there you go. So there's your schedules. In our more tab, here's a list of other functions. Results, these are results from last year, but as the event is unfolding, we can continue to update this information. If this is something you're updating live, then we link to it and anybody can know the results of ongoing games as and when they happen. Really important as you get to the last game of the round robin stage and people are wondering whether they made the playoffs. They know that they won their game, but what happened in that other game on a different field in a different part of town maybe. So this is a great way for them to find out about that without having to call the tournament director on their cell phone and create additional stress for the staff. Sponsors. This is a really key area. So many of our tournaments clients use the sponsors tab as a way to literally pay for their app. They can go through and sell these spots to various people, and that ends up covering the cost of the app and then some. It becomes literally a profit center in its own right, and a lot of our sponsors, or a lot of our clients rather, are using their app now to replace what used to be the old printed program book or yearbook type situation. Information in those things is often terribly out of date because they have to be printed weeks in advance. They're not terribly cool and having all that information in the app and having the advertisers fund it through advertising just as they would in a printed piece, but only in a much cooler, more engaging environment is very good. So here we have just logos of all the various sponsors with the name of the sponsor. Click on that and it takes you directly to their website. Really neat way to get that. And of course, if their website is mobile friendly, as this one is, then that's so much the better. So a really good way to fund your app is to sell sponsors on it. Twitter, this particular client has just a Twitter account, but a lot of our clients have multiple social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and they can all be listed here under the social tab. Photos, obviously sports is a very visual exercise, and anybody can take the app, use either a photograph that's already stored in the camera's gallery, or take a shot right then and there and send it in, and it goes to an email address that you pre-designate so it can be moderated before it goes online, and then it is posted into the app, and can be a gallery. Now you can have multiple galleries in this app, so you can have one just for different age groups, or you can have one for just the champions as they get their trophy presentations. You can have one for various things to do around the area, and you can present these. If you click on any one of these images, you get a larger shot. Weather, obviously, if your event is taking place outside, weather is an important thing. We found people that could possibly even sell sponsorships in this area. So we've got the tournament's logo here, but you could, for example, if it was cold weather, have someone like Dunkin' Donuts and their nice hot chocolate as a sponsor for that particular tab. Or similarly, if it's in the summertime and the weather's hot, have maybe Pepsi or Coca-Cola sponsor it. Other stuff is fairly unique to this particular app, but tournament info. They've chosen to put hotel information here, which is just a third party they're using. We have sometimes some of our clients have an entire tab just dedicated to hotels, and definitely worth doing. Tournament rules, waiver forms. You can have registration. This particular event does not have registration in the app, but certainly we can have that. This is information about the company that actually runs these tournaments. So while the tournaments themselves are branded in their own right, Lehigh LaxFest and Fall Finale Classic, the company that runs them, Athed, has its own website and its own information. Lacrosse News, this is something we just pick a feed up from the Lacrosse News, and again, you could get someone to sponsor this if you wanted to, but it's just got nice updates of what's going on in the world of lacrosse. And then finally we have a car finder. This is something that's in this particular event may not be the most important thing because it's all at one location, but we have a lot of events which take place in places where parking is off street. You don't have a huge parking lot. People are parking their cars in the street and then running off to their games, and then when they come back, this car finder, if you click it when you leave your vehicle, it takes a snapshot of the GPS coordinates where you left your car, and then once your game is over, you can find your way back to it quite easily. This is particularly useful for things like road races where 10,000 people are descending on a town looking for somewhere to park, then getting shuttled to the starting line, then running the race, and now they've got to find their way back to their car in a strange town. So the car finder becomes a useful feature. So that's it for this particular app. We would love to build something similar for your tournament. If that's something you are interested in, we'd love to have you get back in touch with us. Thank you very much.